stuff where we're showing all kinds of weird stuff. Chase will actually have something in the opening screen this time. All right, welcome to episode 191 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining me this week, once again, the three of us, we have Chase.
Hello.
And Steven.
Boo.
Oh, man, it has been, we'll just get out of the way. This is going to be the week of corporate greed of all kinds of things. So with permission, I'm bringing it back.
Corporate greed.
I've already told Rachel that's going to be used a lot this episode, and she thought it was funny. So we'll be getting that on most of our stories for today, sadly. But before we get into that, we're going to talk what we've been doing. So we're going to get into there. And then our group chat for this week is going to be actually us talking about what we have collected this week, because we haven't really been playing much in the way of games, but we have all gotten some kind of fun things to get. But Steven, we're going to start with you. What you been doing, man?
Oh, so much. I've been playing ZZZ.
Who saw that coming?
Not me.
We really should get a marketing deal at some point. Like, when do we get paid by them? Like, every week we say that.
That would be nice.
Give us money, please. This shit's expensive, and I have to pay for it.
I'm addicted to Shinobi. It's definitely a really kind of good Metroidvania right now.
I've heard so many good things about it.
Especially with the update that fixes the resolution of the graphics. Everything looks crystal clean. And then the new DLC coming out where you get to fight Death Adder from Golden Axe. And you're already eventually going to fight Eggman. I can't wait to see how they portray them.
Oh, that's great.
For anybody who does play it, I will let you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a spoiler. But they teach you in the beginning that when a enemy and boss are about to die, they get a little symbol above their head. And if you hold two buttons, you'll do like a slash through them, like cut them in half. However, as hard as it might be, do it to every single boss you fight, because you actually get a special splash screen of you slicing a boss in half. So I've made sure to die if I kill the boss by accident. Go back and I have to give him the final slash because you get a unique artwork every time.
See, now I want to see what happens when you fight Eggman. If he's a boss, like, that's gonna
so
be terrible.
Fun. One of them I sliced in half, and you can see him literally crying as all the limbs are falling off in the picture. And I was like, "This is awesome." Other than that, I spent upwards of let's just say 12 to 14 hours, and I put together 2 Lego sets. The biggest one was the Lego Bowser. That you can make him turn his head. You put the fireball in his mouth and it just falls back out. Comes with his own base, which is kind of like his torches and everything. So he's huge. I have him up on my shelves now.
Nice.
And he's interactable with the little Lego Mario and Lego Peach you got from the other set. So I was like, that's weird.
So he's got little reading points on there?
Yeah, I don't know how that works yet. It just kept saying that on the box, and I was like, "All right." And then
have you ever actually used those before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I made a set once, and I was just like, "Okay, cool." And then I just gave away the set and kept the figures. Because I was like, I don't have any use for the rest of what it does. And then I put together the question block, which was interesting to put together because you're doing a minimalistic version of all those stages from Mario 64.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
That one I did give you the dimensions of what it is open.
Yes, which is good because I can now properly get a shelf to put that up. So you've helped me with that already.
Because of the way it all opens up, and then you have to fold it a certain way to get it back in. But how you just push something and you can make the worlds come out and pop open is really cool. And there's a little minimalistic Mario and Bowser that you can put on a spinning wheel, and you can make it look like Mario 64 when you're spinning them round and round.
I didn't know that.
So there's like little things you can do there. I did come across one of those situations though where they accidentally gave me a random piece that is in a bag later. Mm-hmm. So they gave me 2 of identical pieces, and I'm missing a major piece. But I will tell you, Legos are always just super nice. You go in there. You tell them the code that's on the back of your few pages of your building guide, and you give them the code like, I'm missing this slanted piece, so it's 41617, and then they just send it to you for free within 8 to 12 business days. So then you can just put it on and finish your creation.
Yeah,
I wish puzzles would be able to do that someday, but
I need to do that for my Voltron because I have like 3 pieces that broke when it fell, and I'd contacted them before, and they were like, "Yeah, let us know what parts, and we'll send them to you." And I was like, "That's awesome." So
yeah, because I was just like, "You're just gonna mail this to me?" I was like, "This is great. I'm just gonna get an envelope with one piece in it."
that's fine as long as it works. I mean,
Yeah.
that's cool though. Like I've been trying to get a little kick to try and get some Lego stuff done as well. But all right. So Chase, what about you? What you been doing?
I've been keeping busy. We recently went to a little board game convention called Board Games by the Bay. They do one in Christchurch, Dunedin, Wellington. So it's actually run by just a couple, man and his wife, and
Oh,
they just really enjoy board games and they really enjoy going around and meeting new people, and it's actually quite a fun little experience. So I ended up playing the 2 big games that I probably played when I was there was Nemesis Lockdown and was Warhammer Chaos in the Old World, which was quite interesting because the Nemesis Lockdown game, you basically play as it's quite a thematic heavy game, but you play as different characters on a research station in Mars, and then essentially the research station is losing power, so you're trying to turn the power back on. All the while, when you're traveling through these rooms, you're making noise, which attracts legally distinct aliens um, towards you, and it is a very fun thematic game. Actually, I really enjoy playing it.
that sounds cool.
It is. It's a very fun game. It's one of those games that you don't really expect to like win because like it's one of those things where you feel like you're in control and then everything just goes pear shaped and then you're just like, oh, yep, it's over. The Warhammer Chaos in the Old World was quite fun. Basically, you play as the 4 different Chaos gods in the Warhammer universe, and you're essentially just trying to spread corruption throughout this area. And so the guy that owned the game, neither one of us had played it before, so we actually just watched like a how to play video the night before, came in, a couple other people were interested in playing with us, so we were kind of all learning and teaching how to play the game at the same time. One of the guys that joined us, he ended up winning the game, which I thought was funny. So it's it's a well thought out game because it's basically all about resource management.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't just necessarily like straight up territory control. It's actually about like, you know, using your resources wisely to try to screw over the other players and make them think about what they're doing, because otherwise people can like snowball and win really easy. So it's quite interesting. And then
It sounds like with that one, I guess that's the old setup for Warhammer, not 40K, or is it
correct? So
okay?
it's based in the what they call the old world. So it's
It's like
basically like
Knights and Orcs, I think.
basically. So
Okay.
it's there's a lot of similarities to 40K in the old world, but it's basically like their Age of Sigmar / I think there is actually used to be called Warhammer Fantasy, and then now it's called Warhammer the Old World.
Okay.
Yeah, because
We're learning.
because they used to have Warhammer Fantasy, and that's actually how they started. That's how Warhammer actually started. And then Warhammer 40K was just a sci-fi spin-off of that, but then that ended up becoming the more popular of the two. And then they Warhammer Fantasy wasn't doing well. They kind of got rid of it, and then they rebranded it as Age of Sigmar, which was basically like Warhammer Fantasy but in the style of Warhammer 40K. Did a lot better, was selling a lot better, but then there was like a lot of fans of the original Warhammer Fantasy, And so then they ended up releasing Warhammer the Old World, which is basically just kind of a little nod to them. So that way they can kind of still have that back.
Nice.
So yeah, it's Games Workshop's done a lot of like rebranding and restructuring quite a bit over time. And I mean, some for the good, some not for the good. But yeah, no, it's actually a really fun game. The only thing that sucked though was I was like, oh, I really enjoy this game. Oh, it's out of print, so I can't get it. Damn.
That sucks.
Yeah, because they Fantasy Flight lost a license to it a while back. And then I recently acquired a PC, and so I guess this also kind of ties in with the acquisitions as well. But I got with the fall sale, I've got gotten played Warhammer 40k Chaos Gate, Warhammer 40k Dawn of War 2, which I played like ages ago, so it was really fun to get back into that.
Right.
Also played Expeditions Rome, which is a really good turn-based strategy game. I've been still continuing little by little in Hollow Knight, sticking with it. And then Space Marine 2, I finally got all the achievements, of 100% of the achievements.
Oh, wow.
I was working on that for a while. I finally got it, so I'm happy.
Awesome. All right, so I'll jump into mine. And also, coincidentally, Lego-wise, I got the Lego Game Boy that came out, which I'm still shocked at how close to an actual Game Boy this is. So if you're listening to this, I'm actually showing a real Game Boy right next to the Lego one that I built. And like they're down to like the power port on the bottom, the switch on the top. Actually, like the power switch works on the Lego one just like the actual, which is kind of cool. They've got where the volume and contrast buttons work. You can actually press the buttons and mess with the D-pad because it's very intricate how it's built inside. And then one of my favorite things, start and select, are little rubber tires that they put in there, so they're just squishy to go in. And I was like, that's the most basic and most great way to do it. But they come with cartridges that you can build. And the Zelda one specifically, if I popped it open, has a little Lego battery inside of it because the original cartridge had a battery on this one.
That
Which
was a neat Easter egg.
Yeah, I love that. And they're pretty close to actual cartridges in size. Like they're just a little bit taller, but not too bad. But the printed artwork is really well done. And then the other thing they did is it's a lenticular screen on there. And like here's the Mario one as well, but you can store the extra lenticulars in here. And it's gonna be kind of hard to tell, but if you move it, you can see some of the animation up and down.
Mario jump.
Which looks really good for the Nintendo logo coming down because it's almost like the old screen's blur, which I absolutely love that. And the one I have in the system is the one from Link's Awakening because it's just him and Marin sitting on the beach and the seagulls are what's moving around, and it's great. So that was the one I wanted to keep in there. I ended up picking up a Wally and Eva set the other day. I was out for Amanda and I's 26th anniversary of our first date, and we found that little set, which has got those two in it, the little cleaning robot from Wally, the really angry one, the cockroach that goes on top of Wally, and then the little boot with the plant in it. So I'm probably going to put that together tomorrow. That's a cool little set. But I'm getting shelves together now that Steven has told me the dimensions I need for that crazy block I wanted to do. So I can, once I have a place for it, I'm like, okay, I can build it. And I've still got a bunch of those to work through. I have a couple of games I ended up picking up, of course, as we've all talked. Well, I was going to talk about that in a little bit. I don't know. I'm jumping into that part. Sorry. The other thing was I watched The Pit. You guys ever seen that on HBO?
ER2?
Yeah, it's basically ER2. Close enough that they had a lawsuit about it because they were trying to say that they had taken the rights to it, and it was just the same guy playing a different person, but basically an older version of it. That was a lot of fun to watch because Amanda, my wife, she's a respiratory therapist, so she was criticizing every little medical decision all throughout it. Like, was the equipment right? who was getting called in, and beyond giving him a couple passes because of like, okay, they probably couldn't do that because it's an actual person, and by the time they did it, like the bag's not inflating drove her mad, and I'm like, they probably couldn't hear people talking if they actually did that.
Never lupus.
Right. Well, it's not house, but yeah, until it was lupus once. But she thought it was actually pretty well done, pretty accurate for a lot of the stuff. Yeah, she actually was happy to hear them call for respiratory a few times. She said they would have been in there a lot more doing like intubations and so forth, but she gave it a pass just because there's probably only so many people they wanted to have as actual actors in there and extras. So pretty good. The other thing is I finally got to watch Secret Level. I watched that last night, ended up watching all of them all at once. And I'm just going to name them. I'm not going to go through all of them. I liked most of them. One felt stupid. It's like just a big commercial.
Concord.
No, actually, Concord. So we'll start with Concord. That was not the first one, but they really should have released this before they released Concord, because I watched this and went, oh, that's kind of a neat idea for a world. I would like to explore that. And I was like, well, shit, it's gone. It was gone before it ever even came out. I was like, I would have been interested in this. That's a cool idea of people trying to steal the maps to these these spaceways. I was like, come on, guys. The other one started off, we had Dungeons and Dragons, which was beautifully animated and shocked the hell out of me when I first saw it, because I did not expect that kind of facial animation these days for how good it looks. Love the twist with the dragon at the end and kind of how that one went. Great use of little spells and stuff like that. The Warhammer 40K one, I got to watch and I immediately messaged Chase afterwards because it was just, that one was crazy. If you did not like Warhammer before this, you will be into it after that. And then when you realize that the main character in this is the same one you're playing in the Warhammer Space Marine games, it adds to it even more. But it showed more of it. And I'm Chase, I'm telling you now, I'm going to have questions later because there were so many things that happened. I was like, ooh, I need to ask him about this. What was that creature? Who are these people that got cut in half? Why is this guy glowing? I just had so many questions. And I was like, I know who I'm going to bug. Yep. But that one was so well done. Unreal Tournament, I was kind of confused about how that one would go. And I thought it was pretty cool placing it as a robot uprising taking place on the tournament stage with a lot of the little hints, because I used to play Unreal Tournament back in the day when I would also play Quake 3 Arena. So it was kind of fun seeing those guns, those levels being redone and stuff, which was great. Exodus was a fun one, except for it was more kind of dealing with time dilation and stuff. It was a fun little short story about that. Honor of Kings was, I'm not familiar with the game it's based on, but it was a cool idea of, I believe they were playing Go or not Go. Crap. I'm blanked on the name now. The Black and White Pebbles of changing that one, but it was, well, I think we'd call it that, but it's something else. But it was kind of cool how that was changing the city and just the way the animation was. Pac-Man was dark as hell.
Pac-Man was the best one, I thought.
I watched that one and I was like, I don't trust that little yellow bastard now. Like, that thing is terrifying. And I'm gonna have to go back and continue playing the game that came out that this is tied to, because now I'm like, that puts a much darker twist on what that was already looking like. So I'm a little concerned. New Worlds, Eternum. That one kind of caught me by surprise because the main king is voiced by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he's basically voicing a dumb Conan, like an absolutely cocky, stupid Conan who's acting childish and going through it, but he's in a world where he cannot die, or he'll die and keeps coming back. I ended up being a lot better than I thought it would. It was kind of heartwarming at the end. I was like, okay, I'm guessing that's probably Schwarzenegger's request, that it has to be like a good ending to the story and how it works out. The Outer Worlds one was sad because it's truly showing how bad corporations can get, as a guy gives his basic existence to this one woman who then turns around and screws him over anyways. Mega Man makes me want a series. because I thought that was really creative.
good.
Bomb Man is big. Like, he's very big. Sifu was kind of cool. That's another game I keep meaning to play, because I guess every time you die, you lose like so many years of your life, and you come back as a little bit older, which they show in this one. So it's kind of intrigued that. Spelunky is another series that I have played before, where you're just infinitely going into these caverns trying to see how far you can go or beat levels and survive. Cute animation style. I kind of like the 2D but also 3D styling of it. Lots of death in that one. And then the last one I wanted to mention was Playtime, which was just a big ass PlayStation commercial. Like, I was halfway waiting for the girl in there to be like, oh no, we can only win this if we go buy a PlayStation 5 now. Like, I was like, come on. I was kind of wondering if, like, did Sony fund this entire series? Is that how they got a commercial in here? Like, it had some great references, but it felt very weird that it was so... I think that was the only console specific one. Like, there was tie-ins for other stuff, and, like, you know, Pac-Man's on a bunch of things, Mega Man, but the Playtime one for Sony was like the only, like, this is PlayStation. It's the only one I was just kind of about. So, but interesting little one. But let's go ahead and jump over to the group chat so we can talk about some stuff that we found. So, Chase, since you have not been with us last week and you've gone to this little board game thing, I know you've got some stuff to show off. So we will start with you, sir.
Yeah, I got one thing to show off. In particular, aside from the stuff that I already mentioned earlier that I acquired, at the Board Games by the Bay, they had a silent auction that people could bring in board games that maybe they didn't want anymore and they wanted to put up for auction. And
it's a cool way to do it.
Yeah, it was actually really, like, it's the whole setup and everything that they do is actually really well done. So people brought in some board games maybe that they didn't want anymore. You could put them on the thing, you know, write down what you want for your starting bid, and then people would just get a bidder number from the people running the show, and then you could just go over and you'd write it on this piece of paper, and then you just periodically maybe go back and check just to see if somebody else has outbid you or not. Mm-hmm. It was actually really well done. So Shanoa told me, she's like, oh, there's a game that you probably want to get over there. And so I ended up getting this off the silent auction. Somebody had it put amazing. Up. So, which is really good because this is out of print. So that was pretty much the only way I was going to get it.
We were talking about it before the show, and I still stand by the fact there should be it should have included or a way to get a big Brumac for that, like, just to have it in the game.
Yeah. So I was quite pleased with that. Nice little snag. So, other than that, yeah.
Will you admit to how much you paid for it? Or is that just we're not going to talk about that question?
$75 bucks.
That's not bad at all.
Well, no, it would have been like $12 here.
No,
that's right. I keep forgetting it's New Zealand money, so it's way more than we.
The guy that I actually knew the guy that was selling it. He has been to, like, some of the other board game groupings and stuff that we've went to in the past, and he's a pretty cool guy. So he put it up for 75. I bid the 75, and then nobody else outbid me. So I was like, sweet.
Well, easy deal. At least now he knows it's going to a household that'll love it.
Yep, pretty much.
So it's Gears of War. That's an awesome one to find.
Yeah, so I was pretty stoked with it.
Was that the only one you guys brought home, basically?
Shanoa put a bid on Seven Wonders Duel, which is just a. Okay. I don't know if you guys have played the Seven Wonders board game, but it's basically just a condensed 2-player version.
Yeah, okay. I've seen there's even like a World of Warcraft version of it too.
Yeah.
No.
So, it was good though. It was a good time, good weekend.
Awesome. I'm glad you had fun. So I started showing this earlier. Of course, I picked up Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, which I've actually inadvertently ended up buying 2 copies because I had a pre-order paid off at GameStop and then forgot I'd also pre-ordered it at Best Buy and got the notification that day that, hey, it's been paid for and it's ready to pick up. And I was like, I guess I have 2 now. So I went ahead and picked it up, and Jennifer never watches the show, but my daughter will probably end up getting that copy. So it's not like it's going to waste. It's the only reason I have that. But the main thing I was happy to pick up this week that I grabbed is my Black Label original release for Resident Evil Director's Cut on the original PlayStation. This does have the Resident Evil 2 demo disc, which is what I was really wanting to get a hold of. But it's got the full book and everything included with it. So now the only Resident Evil I'm missing on the original PlayStation is the tall box release, which good luck for me on that one, because I did not realize how many fake ones there are out there of that. Like, a lot of people are just making the case. I'm like, God dang it. So if I can find it, great. But if not, but some of the other stuff is I got a new copy of Enchanted Arms for the Xbox 360, which doesn't have the book, but I do have the sleeve, so I'm almost to a complete set for that one. For PS5, I ended up getting Lunar Lander Beyond, which I haven't played yet, but it just looks so weird, and it was like $20 that I was like, I need to at least give that a try. I keep forgetting my watch makes noise now. Art Racing Evolutions on GameCube, just because this is such a weird racing series, and being on GameCube, there's not that many racing games.
Yeah, it's one of the best.
Okay, it's one of those. DDR Max, Dance Dance Revolution for the PS2. I'm trying to get back into playing some DDR. I haven't done it in a while, and I was like, well, I have room for it now, so I can get the dance pads out. And then, of course, the one I had to get that I surprisingly did not have in my collection, Wii Music, a complete version of Wii Music, which is terrible, by the way. This game is terrible. I only paid $6 for it, so don't feel bad.
Case, he bought that, and I luckily talked him out of Damnation.
There was a box copy of Damnation, and I was like, I remember you guys mentioning this, and I told him about it, and he's like,
yeah, we mentioned it, all right.
It's like, don't do it.
I was just like, he's like, should I get it? And I was like, unless you have somebody to rope in on it, and not us, to play through one of the worst Tomb Raider Gears hybrid mistakes ever.
Yeah, so I put it back, so I did not get Damnation. That's why
he'll never see Pepe ever.
No.
I think if I find it cheaper than what I'd already found it pretty cheap to begin with, I might pick it up just for stupidity, but I don't think I was paying the $20 for it.
It gets even worse if you're by yourself, because you have nobody to heckle with.
Oh God.
You're just like, I'm wallowing in my own shit. It's like, you are.
I'd have to stream it with you guys so at least somebody can talk to me. All right. Steven, what about you? What stuff did you pick up?
I also picked up this game. People said it wasn't a great deal, but apparently there's 3 new music tracks in it, so suck it, haters. Sorry, mouse control only work in co-op mode because yeah.
Makes sense.
I found out from the packaging that the Street Fighter Series 2 cards are completely random booster packs. It is not like the Animal Crossing booster packs. You only get 3 cards. They are amiibo cards. They unlock stuff. They can save your settings, such and such.
Oh, I see Ken in there.
So I got Ed, Ken, and Mai. So I at least got one of the new characters in this one. So 35 cards more to go. Only from Best Buy. Let's do it.
I have a feeling you and I are both going to be ordering some and then talking to each other, going like, all right, I have this, I have that. And then for the Christmas, we'll be like sending trades to each other.
Supporting the Microsoft Activision acquisition by buying Crash 4 on Xbox. My search function in my CLZ app failed me, and now I have 2 copies of the Saints Row Duo set. It was only like $5. I don't mind that much.
I didn't know they made a dual release one for Xbox.
And then of course I got Tactics. This is one of them that has a free Switch 2 upgrade, Square Enix. Or you got the Switch 2 version key card. So I bought the version 1 because I had to get the collector's edition.
Oh my God.
Because it comes with like a figurine and a bunch of other stuff, and everybody loves Tactics so much that That's yeah. The thing about their collector's editions, though, they always give you the game right outside the box. It's a beautiful thing.
That's crazy.
Other than that, I got mostly movies or DVD that I was looking for because one of the stores I go to, Pop Culture, that I showed you all the Star Trek stuff he had. They had some Gears of War novels if you're ever looking for those too. But they always have, whenever you buy any of their DVDs, box sets, Blu-rays, it's buy one get them for $1, and they had almost the entire collection of Penn and Teller's Bullshit, which was one of my favorite series, and a lot of them were just sealed. So I was like, all right, I'll take them.
Nice. I need to make a note here. All right. Say it's been a pretty active week for us collecting things. I need to order the Final Fantasy Tactics. I think the Best Buy near here has one. Walmart and GameStop are sold out of it, but I've heard good things. But I forgot that they actually did give you the Switch 2 upgrade for free, so that's kind of nice. So I might see about ordering that tonight and pick it up tomorrow while we're on that side of town. Anyways, just have it ready to go. Of course, Best Buy loves to slap a big sticker right in the front of it, which thankfully it's at least in plastic, so maybe it won't be so bad.
Your watch doesn't like it when you smack it.
It's not that. I'm just turning it off because it did an update and decided it was like, I'm going to make noise now. It hasn't made noise in forever.
It sounds like a Samsung washing machine.
Yeah, it's a Samsung watch, so I guess that works.
There you go.
Now, I was telling the boys that whenever they got home to feed their sister dinner, and it was my oldest send me a picture of himself already in the process of warming up dinner. I was like, I didn't even know they were home. Cool. So I guess that works. All right, so let's get into a whole bunch of news, pretty much all involving
corporate greed.
Let's get into it. So last week, Steven and I talked about EA possibly going private. Well, like the next day, they confirmed it. So EA is going private in their $55 billion deal with Silver Lake, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, and Affinity Partners, which is founded and led by Jared Kushner. So this is expected to close first fiscal quarter of 2027, but still needs regulators and the EA stockholders to approve, which I'm sure they'll be offered so much money they'll just agree with it because that's what they want. And regulation is getting loose as hell for a lot of this stuff. So I'm sure that won't be a problem, especially given the fact that, of who's involved with it, of direct ties. They'll probably be allowed to do a lot more than they should. But once it's completed, EA stock will no longer be publicly available on any markets. So it'll just be whatever they want to do. No outside, sources for that are putting into it. Each of the three will need to put cash in of about $36 billion with a rollover of PIF's existing EA stake that they already have, as well as JP Morgan Chase Bank financing about $20 billion in debt that EA will have to pay off. Go ahead, Steven.
And that right there is bullshit evil, is that you buy a company and then you're like, by the way, you're paying off your own debt.
Yep. That's kind of, some people are wondering if they're pulling a Toys R Us, because that's what happened with them. They got bought out and then everybody dumped all their debt onto it, which ended up killing Toys R Us. So there is a chance they could buy up EA, dump all their debt into it and just kill all of EA off.
Start the clock, because the last two ones that did something like this, they died in a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. So EA is about to find out about their own layoffs. EA's headquarters will remain in Redwood City, California for now, with Andrew Wilson continuing as a CEO under the deal, or I guess in this case more of a figurehead, because he won't be owning that company anymore. Many are wondering what this will do to EA titles in the future, with the expectations of much more focus on microtransactions, especially for their sports games and things like that, along with what could best be described as whitewashing of a lot of the characters in new titles, where because of the people that would own them, anything dealing with certain groups of minorities, orientations, things like that would pretty much be frowned upon or outright banned.
I'm just looking forward to playing as Ronaldo in Battlefield 7.
Pretty much. But like things like Mass Effect, where you could date different members of the crew where you could, if you were playing male shepherd, date one of the guys or vice versa, will probably not be allowed. Stuff like that will just go away. And then
Yeah, you can only date Ronaldo.
no matter who you are, it's only Ronaldo. Oh man, that still trips me out that they pushed him into an SNK fighting game. Who the hell puts a soccer player in a fighting game? That's an actual person. That's just ridiculous. Many are expecting massive layoffs, studio closures, and a push into AI to try and make up the money for the debt, as well as to pay that down, and then trying to focus on just making money for the new owners, which any company is going to do. But I'm wondering if they're going to end up selling off some of their IP as well, maybe series that they don't want to deal with anymore to try and get that cash flow back in. So that might
Give
be the
Sims
best
to
case
somebody
scenario.
else.
Huh?
Give Sims to somebody else. Thank you.
Yeah, The Sims, SimCity, a lot of that stuff, BioWare in general, I think. A lot of people are wondering what's going to happen with them because their last game didn't sell to the amounts that people wanted. And they make a lot of titles that kind of explore all kinds of stuff that may be frowned upon now.
I see them going independent, then bought by PlayStation, and then they'll assign BioWare to make the next Destiny, and then they'll be fired.
Okay. They'll get made into some other PlayStation studio. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on this? If this happens and EA does end up getting purchased by this group, are you going to still continue to play some of the EA games, or are you going to kind of veer away from it a little bit more, like from personal choice or anything like that?
I can't tell you on one hand how many EA games I've bought. I think actually no, I can tell you I've only bought the Hazelight games. His games.
Yeah.
The EA originals.
Pharaoh's games.
So everything else is just, I don't know. It's just annual stuff, or it just seems to go too hard and become incredibly cheap after a while. So it's not like I'm giving them that much money when I drop. I think I dropped $3 on the last Battlefield. Just have it. So I'm one of those people that I'm like, I technically will still support them, but not in the way you're thinking.
Right.
If I'm giving them money, I'm giving them like $3. I'm not giving them $60, $70. They would have to pull something out of their licensing pool that I would actually give Saudi A. That's what I'm calling them. Saudi A credit for bringing back.
Kitty.
So because they have a tremendous amount of IPs, and it took them a while to even bring one of them to the Switch, which was My Sims. And now with mouse support on Switch 2, it's less like, you have a cash cow waiting for you. So whether you get influence from your new partners to stop making expensive bullshit that doesn't sell, and maybe you do something else, remains to be seen.
Yeah, Chase, what about you? Is that put any consideration in the whole upcoming Battlefield 6? Because I know that's something we've been looking into.
No, I mean, to be fair, Battlefield 6 is going to be the first EA game that I've bought in ages, except for the Hazelight stuff. So yeah, I don't think EA is opening up a new studio because of me anytime soon or anything like that.
Yeah, Battlefield. Oh, go ahead.
It's kind of like you said with Toys R Us. They're gonna end up having their own issues, so it's not gonna be. They're not gonna be able to pull anything out that's gonna change the course of their gaming or anything like that. If anything, we're gonna get canceled projects.
Probably. I think we've already started getting canceled projects because before this happened, stuff like Black Panther and things like that were canceled. Which I don't know.
We live in a world where we can't see finished movies like Batwoman or Batgirl. That's pretty much all completed, but yet they'll release garbage like War of the Worlds.
Yeah, I've heard that was not great, and that's putting it nicely. My only worry is for stuff like Battlefield 6, it looked really promising for a lot of the stuff coming out, but then if this acquisition goes through, I guess that's still an accusation. Stuff like this might start getting just riddled with even more like DLC and microtransactions than they already have, because remember, they're going to be getting control over Madden, over the FIFA series, stuff like that, Need for Speed, if any of those ever get made anymore that are actually good.
I'll be the first to cross the picket line if they make Madden actually an improvement.
People are begging Sega to try and get the license and do 2K. And some people are hoping that if this deal goes through, that maybe the NFL and some of those will stop doing the exclusive deals with them and let other companies make sports games again. Because that was the heyday when other companies could also get that license and make those titles.
And when it was 2K versus Madden, yeah.
I'm not a sports guy, but holy crap, I actually bought 2K and enjoyed it. Like, it was actually fun. And it was only $20. Like, it was insane. Like, we'll never see that day again. EA made sure that would never happen by buying up the license exclusively, which was kind of a dick move. But
yeah, I think it was a bit of a joint decision on that one, because I think the NFL was obviously complicit in it as well.
They were pushing for it, yeah.
Yeah. I think they felt that giving it solely to just one company would be better than giving it to multiple companies.
And then they got lazy.
Yeah, pretty much.
I bet say, yeah, we just got the same game over and over again, or worse.
Then we lost Game Day. We lost 2K.
Yeah. Because you used to be able to make sports games and have them be successful, even if they did not have the actual license or the names. But now that's such a big draw for people. That's what they want. You can't really make up these leagues and have it succeed in the same way that it used to be. So yeah. That's a lot of what they're kind of sticking to for that. So I don't know. We still have the slight hope that either regulators will say no. No, that's not going to happen. Yeah.
Warner Brothers is going to own everything.
It's going to come down to Warner Brothers or Disney. It's going to be like the end of the Matrix, where it's one of them's eating the other, and that'll reset all of existence. Or somehow the stockholders say no. And of course, they will just offer them even more amounts of money until they say yes, because money is just the winner in all of this, sadly. So, yeah, just a whole shit ton of corporate greed. All right, let's go into our next little bit here. So, Xbox has decided in their infinite wisdom, after already raising the cost of all of their systems a crazy amount, that now they're changing the price and settings for Game Pass and their general online structure. So we'll go through this because there's the 4, I was going to say 3, but there's actually 4 levels to this now. You have original Xbox Core is now going to be called Game Pass Essential, which is still going for the $9.99 a month, as well as that's going to now have access to 50 selected titles, up from the initial 25 that they had. And then of these titles, some of them have PC access, so you're actually gaining a little bit there. I'll have to look and see, because I guess I have PC games I can play that way now, which, hey, Chase, I guess you do too, maybe. Yep. Essential players will have access to cloud streaming for supported titles that they own. I don't know which ones those are going to be, but it's limited to 1080p at 12 megabits a second bitrate. You get the in-game benefits from Riot Games, which I don't know what in the world that will do. Like, I don't think I actually play anything from Riot Games, but hey, I'm good for somebody.
That's like 30 of the perks I get from Game Pass Ultimate. It's like, what is this garbage?
Right. And then Essential subscribers can earn up to $25 a year through their rewards program. And that rewards program will come up on each of these with a huge caveat at the end, which we'll get to. Next up, we have Game Pass Premium. That's also remaining at $15 a month, $14.99. More than 200 games will be available on both Xbox and PC, so they're adding in PC access. Unlimited cloud gaming has been added to their Game Pass library, and select titles that they may own. So they'll have a little bit more that they can stream, still limited to the 1080p 12 megabit a second bit rate. They will not get day one releases, but they will get Microsoft-owned titles, quote, within a year of their launch, with a quick little blurb that popped up at the bottom going, except Call of Duty. You don't get Call of Duty. Go ahead, Steven.
Psst, within a year of launch, Call of Duty will be $15.
Right?
Because they'll have already announced the next one, so the one you're going to get is trash.
Yeah. In-game benefits for titles like League of Legends, Call of Duty Warzone, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege X are now included, which were originally Game Pass Ultimate perks that got brought down to this stage. And then premium subscribers can earn up to $50 a year through their rewards program.
Certainly the deal cannot possibly get better than that.
Now we go on to Game Pass Ultimate. This is the one that kicked a lot of people.
The best deal in gaming, TM.
So it's going from $19.99 a month to $29.99 a month. So basically $240 to $360 a year, or a 50% increase. You get access to more than 400 games globally, which I love how they say globally. So I don't know if that's, if your region will have all these titles or if it's just spread out over the world. No clue. 45 games were added to the day of the announcement. So there's already some more games you can play. Which makes me wonder, and I'll ask you guys about this.
None of them were Game Pass. They were all Ubisoft classics, by the way.
Yeah. At some point, are there just when does it become so many games they've added that, yeah, you're paying for it, but you could never play them all? So it's almost like you're paying for more than you could ever use. At some point, it just kind of seems like we're getting to that. Ubisoft Plus Classics is being added with a collection of titles across console, PC, and cloud. And then a new 1440p resolution and bitrate improvement for certain games on select devices are limited to Ultimate subscribers only, which is a 30 megabit a second bitrate. Fortnite Crew is being included which includes the Battle Pass, 1,000 V-Bucks a month, and more. So if you play Fortnite, that's, I guess, a perk to it. Ultimate subscribers can earn up to $100 a year or 100,000 points through their rewards program based on the games they play. But Microsoft quietly also pulled that the 10% discount that you would get on all DLC that Ultimate subscribers used to get is now gone.
And you can't use the points to get more subscriptions.
Mm-hmm. So you can't earn it that way to pay it off. You can't use it for certain of the perks that people were using for the discount for like Call of Duty and things like that, because that requires real money and they won't let you use these perks, but they would let you use the discount prior. So now people are having to pay more cash into that. And they're trying to make it where you'll earn the points and have to use it only in their store without that discount. So you're saving them money, keeping it all inside their environment, but not actually saving you any money in your bank whatsoever by paying less. Because go you. And then lastly, PC Game Pass is going from $11.99 a month to $16.49, or 40% increase, and basically not getting anything extra. They're just like, you're paying more. Thanks for playing. Yeah. So after the announcement, their website to cancel your subscriptions was hit so hard it went down. Like it just completely went out. It eventually went back up, and I would love to see the numbers if it ever gets out of how many accounts were canceled. Because the announcement of the price changes hits just as their recently announced price increase for all of their hardware it hits later this week. So everything about Xbox is becoming ridiculously more expensive, while you're getting less and less games on the system, exclusives on the system, but expected to pay more for it for the Game Pass stuff.
I wanted to be scared for Halloween, but not by prices.
I know Steven and I, we each shared our favorite responses to this that certain people online have done. Steven, you wanna say your first one that you sent?
Yeah, I liked Giant Bomb's Jeff Gertzman, who said now it's Xbox $360 per year. $360 per year.
And then I had seen another guy just randomly online named Ben Hewerdine, I'm guessing is his name. It's just a guy that was on there who called it the Xbox Series finale, which I got a good laugh about that. That's a the Series X, the Series S, and now the Series finale. So yeah, like this, I get some people are saying that you're getting so much extra content that it is, maybe it's making it worth it. But once again, you're paying to get so many more games that you already had a trouble playing the games you already had. Is it really worth getting
The
that much?
problem with the price now
Uh-huh.
is basically if you walked into a library, okay,
Mhm.
and they said for $360, all those books on those bookshelf are yours, and we'll add books. But if you don't read any of those books because you don't care for them, you're wasting your money. You just bought a giant bookshelf full of books, and there's maybe 3 books you want to read in there. Well, after you've read them, now what? You're waiting until they put in a book you want to play again. So you have all this just media just sitting there. And since not enough people I know had Game Pass, it was just hard to get a good amount of use on it as well. I would occasionally get it with Power Wash Simulator. Um, I got it with Blueprints, and I got it with Expedition 33. Got lucky. But beyond that, like I was like, oh, I've been looking forward to that game. But then by the time I wanted to play it, I bought it physical for cheaper than it was to renew for another month.
Right. Chase, what about you? I know your situation being a little different because some of the games are harder to get in your region. So Game Pass kind of hits a little different, I think,
It
from
does
how
hit a
we've
little
had
bit
talked
different.
before. So what are your thoughts on this?
So I mean, even if I'll have to look and see what it actually is going to cost me in New Zealand dollars now, what the price hike will look like. But yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean,
I wouldn't be
Swan's
shocked if you go PC Game Pass only, even though Ultimate comes with PC Game Pass.
yeah. I mean, like Swan's right. It's at the end of the day with like the subscription model, it's the value is really just it's subjective, isn't it? It's subjective to the
Mhm.
person because maybe there's somebody there that is going to look at that library and be like, "Holy crap, there's like 10 games that I can play or something like that." And then it becomes worth it to them, right? But I mean, it's no different than to me. It just seems no different than say like a Netflix subscription or Disney Plus subscription.
Mhm.
Like there's going to be way more movies on those things than you can watch in you know a certain amount of time. It's just more about if they have the things that you want to watch, and you're constantly getting some value from it. Um, yeah. So, um, it also probably hits a little bit different for me a little bit because over here in New Zealand, a brand new game costs $120. So
Damn.
So it costs a year. It costs a year of Ultimate Game Pass.
yeah, practically three games is what like 3 games is basically a year's worth of Game Pass
That's
Ultimate
Ultimate.
now. Yep.
And I think like the math for that does work out a lot different, especially. And I'm curious what the increase in price will be for your area because we don't know what that's going to be yet. But
Mhm.
that is a big difference compared to what we have here. And given what you play and things like that, yeah, that makes more sense. Like
Mm.
this is still more expensive, but not as expensive as buying these individual titles. And we've had this discussion for years now, especially with me being the holdout that never gets Game Pass. Even you guys are like, "Oh, we're
Now,
enjoying this."
now it's too late, Jeremy.
I technically still have like a year free I could get, but I'm like, I don't care. Um, and but I end up purchasing a lot of my games. I have them, and when people are talking about the fact of like, oh well, if you're buying this many games, you could just get them for free and it's fine. It's like it's not really free, and we share them in the house. So my
And
copy,
it's not permanent. They do get pulled.
yeah, and like if
Yeah.
you're in the middle of playing a game and it gets pulled, are you just SOL until you buy it?
Yes.
Yep.
And then
You get a caution symbol on your game button, whatever you want
mhm.
to call it, and it's just like, oh, it just doesn't launch anymore. You should buy the disc.
Yeah, see that's I don't like that. And then like even, they'll let you buy DLC for games that you have on there. And then if the game gets pulled, you've paid for DLC you just can't use until you buy the game again. And or until they bring it back if they do, which cycles out. Which for certain libraries I understand, which is why I just stick to I guess Essentials now. Is the only one I have. But even then the games they give me, I never download any of them. I'm just like,
Yeah.
there's not really even much on there that has caught my interest unless it's something you guys want to play. because I'd rather have the games on there. And if I'm going to buy it digitally, I tend to stick to ones that I will be able to play on my PC or my handheld and my Xbox if I'm going that route, preferably. Or I hold off and try and get a physical one. Like you mentioned, Blueprints. I finally ordered a copy of Blueprints. It's coming from I Am 8-Bit. That's going to be on PS5. It's a single player game, so I don't give a damn. But I will have that disc. And if the boys want to play it, they just walk in here, take the disc, and go play it. You know, same thing that's been holding me off from getting Silent Hill F. It looks really cool, and I saw an Xbox copy of it today, and I thought about getting it. But my oldest already has it on PS5. Once again, single player title. I could just go borrow his and play it and not have to pay for it.
And it's a Souls-like.
Yeah, see, I kind of want to try it before I buy that, honestly, because I don't know if I'm going to like it or not.
I thought it was going to be like another Resident Evil, and I was like, sweet, I need more of those. Like, Silent
I
Hill
love
told me
Resident
it
Evil.
was. But then they're like, it's very Souls-like. I was like,
I'm just trying to think of like a quote unquote Xbox game that I'm like actually the only one that I want to buy that's coming out, but I already want to buy it, even though it's coming out on Game Pass right away. Is going to be Ninja Gaiden 4. I've got all the other Ninja Gaidens. Like, there's no way I'm not going to buy and collect
that one I have
this
to buy.
Ninja Gaiden.
It's not coming out till February, and by then I don't have Ultimate anymore.
Yeah, I was looking at Gears of War on PS5 today as an actual disc, and I was like, it feels so wrong, but I'm like, I want the copy to go with the rest of my Gears of War collection. But it feels so wrong.
Just change the case.
Just change the case. I'm just going to print a new case for it.
Yeah.
Oh man, Microsoft is just, they're not thinking things through, or they're thinking strictly on how much money they can squeeze out of this. And we'll save it because our big question this week is talking about part of this, but this is getting to be such a pain because like I didn't list it in here for some of our stuff, but like 2 different stores have pulled Xbox completely. We've already seen it shrinking from Walmart. We've seen it shrinking from Targets. Even GameStop doesn't carry quite as much as they did before, but now Costco has completely pulled it outright. It's gone. And Sam's Club. Yeah, and Sam's Club started having basically a fire sale. So you can get, I think, like a Series X for like $300 something right now at a Sam's Club. And if you can find one, go ahead and grab it. It's not a bad deal for the stuff that's already there, but what is that going to mean in the future? And does Microsoft even give a shit? You know, so many people just buy things online. Are they just going to do that and they're just going to raise the price and not care because they're just disseminating their games out everywhere? And like I said, we'll have this discussion here in a bit, but
going full Dreamcast.
You never go full Dreamcast. Oh man. Sad thing is with Dreamcast, at least everybody was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Yeah, we love this thing. We still enjoy it. Xbox would be like, yeah, that box is dead.
They'll do the same thing. They'll wait 15 years and know back. That was a great system.
Yeah. Too bad it doesn't work anymore because the online isn't there.
All my disk installers don't work.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. All right. Well, that can't possibly be the most greedy thing that Microsoft has done. Oh, no, shit, we got more. All right. Once again, we are ready for a little bit more
corporate greed.
And Xbox, of course, is now testing out a free version of Xbox Cloud Gaming with ads. Big asterisks. So, according to the leaks for this, for the tests that are going on inside Microsoft that they're going to try and roll out in a beta and test out, you can play select titles free, as well as eligible free Play Day titles and some Xbox retro classics. But they're testing a 2-minute pre-roll before you get to gameplay. So you're going to have to sit there for that 2-minute ad, which at that point I would just mute it and go to the bathroom or do something else. And then you have a limit of 1 hour per session. So I don't know how that's going to cut you off, but if you're in a stage that takes over an hour or trying to play something and it just cuts you, you're done with a total of 5 hours per month. So that's 5 1-hour periods you could mess around with. That might change once launched, but that's apparently the current test setup for this. So would you guys be interested?
Like the Versus arcade system that when you could play NES games in your local arcade. What's wrong with that? You got a timer on the top? You never got to beat any of the games. Who cares?
The only reason I ever got to beat any of those is because I actually had the machine in my house for a while, and that was it. I've actually finished versus Super Mario Brothers. It's difficult as shit, by the way, because that time limit and extra stuff. But I had to just keep pumping in quarters in my own house and just like keep feeding it through when that machine used to work. But I just, oh, I hate how much they're trying to push ads back into these things, because it's almost like I pay extra for not having ads. I feel my time is not worth having to sit there. I pay for YouTube Premium for my entire family, which is like $26 a month, because the amount of time we save not dealing with ads is worth it to me, because those ads have gotten ridiculous. Which kills me, because every time, like Steven, when you post a video on Discord and I click play on it, it will start playing the ads because it will not recognize my account. And I'm like, oh, fuck this. And immediately pull it out to watch somewhere else. It's like, you're not making me watch ads. Like Paramount Plus, I paid that to get the no ads version, pay it for a whole year. And then like 2 months into it, they're like, yeah, you have to watch ads now. We're not giving you a choice, even though I paid them for that version, which pissed me off. Amazon's doing that now too, where they're slapping ad breaks in the middle of stuff and then advertising to me that I can pay more a month to once again not get ads. And I was like, well, you dirty fuckers.
They actually kicked off, or they're kicking off all of my grandfathered people who were enjoying the Prime shipping, because they were just, and they gave them a great deal. They said for $15 you can have an Amazon Prime for an entire year. But I don't get that as a person who had those people using your benefits. I just get, oh, hey, don't worry, you'll still pay the full amount come next February. Oh, yeah. And we didn't tell you until after you clicked it, but all your echoes are now like plus versions, because they use a little bit of AI if you ask it a complicated question. And if you ever stop using your Prime subscription, that will turn into a $15 a month charge for the plus.
Well, it's like with Netflix, they were doing the whole thing where if you're not at your home IP, they'll start restricting it. And I ran into that because like I travel a lot, so I'm just waiting for that to happen. But Jennifer joined me at work one day, and I was setting up for her to watch Supergirl. She loves watching that. It's on Netflix. And it was like, you're not at your home IP, and blocked me from using my own Netflix account, which I have had for years on this device. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? So I had to sign in again, and they were like, well, we'll let you do it this one time. And I was like, bitch, I pay you for this. You will let me do it when I want to, because that's the point.
Yeah,
that is why.
Shanoa had the exact same thing happen to her with Netflix. She said, because she got a family account, and then she had people on her family account, and then they've started cracking down on that. And they made it basically like, they made it so hard for people on her family account to actually view stuff that people just started getting their own accounts, which is what they're hoping for.
Yeah, because they got all the other streaming services excited, like, we got so many more subscribers because they really wanted our content. And they're like, perfect, we'll restrict everybody in the entire world. The only people who haven't restricted are Peacock and Paramount. I don't care.
Yeah, it just, like, I get it, you're trying to get all this stuff, but like with Amazon pushing where like you can't ship out like to stuff outside your house. So if you've got kids that have moved or gone to college, or if I'm traveling and I have to order something and overnight it somewhere, I can't use my Amazon while I'm there. Or my grandmother, who's almost 90, we would send her things. I apparently won't be able to do that anymore. It's the same reason that she uses some of our Netflix and stuff like that, because she can't work. She's almost 90. Let her just watch the damn shows. Like, come on. Like, we pay for a family plan for a reason. It should not matter who we have on that account. It's like with Nintendo. You imagine how much it would suck if Nintendo actually restricted who could be on your family plan? Because
right now they're the best deal in gaming.
Yeah, we've got at least 3 people on our family plan that don't live with us, like not even remotely, and they're fine.
Yeah, I have Chase on mine. He hasn't paid for the last 4 years.
What's so damn cheap? Why not?
But it's so low that I'm just like, it's okay.
Yeah, I think mine's coming up next month. It's like, pay $70. It's like, oh, I forgot it was that low. And that covers all of us for everything. And I'm like,
I
all
just
right.
reach out to everybody and I'm like, give me $5.
Well, I bought the N64 pin set because I can just put the year in for the family plan and I get more pins. So win-win. So I'll have extra N64 pins here soon. So I know we were very sidetracked off of the Xbox streaming, but this was mainly about the fact they're trying to push ads. Because what I want to ask you guys is how soon before they start trying to feed this into every other version of Game Pass streaming? Where like Ultimate, you'll get the 1440p, but we'll give, maybe they'll give the lower ones 1440p, but you've got to watch like 5 minutes of ads before you start. Or, some way that they start weeding that in there for
Game
extra
Pass
money.
Ultimate for $9.99 a month. I will watch as many ads as you want. I don't care. I already have to wait for my Xbox to turn on, recognize 2 external hard drives, and then I can log in. So you know what? I can deal with an ad. I can deal with it because I don't let it go to sleep. That when I turn it on, sometimes it says, we need an update about 7 gigs. I'm like, go ahead. So these systems are data hogs. So it's just like, sweeten the pot if you're going to give me the ads. Don't just be like, we're going to give you ads and that's it. 'Cause that sucks.
Because that's what it seems to be. Like they're giving us ads while also taking stuff away. It's like charging more but giving you less.
That's the wrong direction. You're supposed to give me ads but make things cheaper or give me a benefit.
Yeah, the problem is greed only works one way, and they want it to be their way, and that's it.
Their way or the highway.
And they still charge a toll to get on the damn highway. So, fuck it. Chase, you got any thoughts about ads being stuck into things? While we're all ranting?
Yeah.
By the way, this show is ad-free, people. Recognize that.
I want to know who's got like decent enough internet that this cloud gaming actually fucking works for them though, because whenever I've tried like the PlayStation streaming or like any of this bullshit, like I've always told, and I've got gigabit internet, and I'm told like, yeah, your internet sucks, you can't use it. I'm like, okay, fuck you then. Like, who the fuck's actually like using this shit? So I don't know, but
Chase, I've got Wi-Fi 7. I'm ready.
yeah.
Nothing in my house supports Wi-Fi 7, so I'm not ready.
I hear those people that are like, I was on a flight and I had my PlayStation Portal and I could play it like it was right in front of my PS5. And I was like, you're full of shit. There's no way at all that's happening.
Quite interesting though. Shanoa, because I got Shanoa PlayStation Portal, and she took it with her over to Wellington, and she's over in her brother's house, and she's actually just playing it with her, like, because I turned on the TV and all I saw was Paw Patrol because she's playing with her nephew, her little nephew. And it's like I just saw Paw Patrol on the TV going, and I'm like, oh yeah, obviously it works because she's playing it. So I said, you know what, good on her. Like,
I mean, how come I get lagged in the same room the system is?
She's on a completely different island, bro.
I mean, nobody else is playing on their PlayStation out there.
It must be. I don't know.
I mean, I do agree. It's a cool idea. And I think it's one that will grow and people will actually use. But right now, it's a mess. It is such a hot mess. Because
it's the best-selling accessory, though.
That says something. Especially with as much as their controllers break.
I'm not arguing with you that, like, yeah, they probably could have done some things better and stuff. But
right.
It is, unfortunately, oddly enough, it is their best-selling accessory.
Because people want another Vita.
Yeah,
well, a lot of people, and I've seen stores sell it like that. Like, this is their new PSP or PlayStation Portable, and I'm like, no, it's not.
It's coming out next year or 2 years from now.
With the PS6 with quadruple ray tracing.
God. Yep. Okay, I'm going to go on a rant about PlayStation's history here. Just fuck it. I'm going to clip this later. Enjoy it. That's one of the things I've absolutely hated about PlayStation for decades is how they will swear up and down. Like, I remember when the PS2 was coming out, they were like, it can play parts of Toy Story in real time and all this stuff. And that's why you shouldn't get a Dreamcast. And that crap never happened. It could not actually do that. And then now, they're talking about the PlayStation 6. Who cares about the Switch 2? This thing will have all this power, but be able to be portable and do so much more. And it's like, you guys will keep making up crap and people will believe it, even though none of it comes to pass.
Listen,
It's
I've
such a
got-
marketing scam.
I've got these converters. I can play anything on my TV, and it's going to be primo quality.
Steven, you were hurting me with having those existing in your house. I will send you better equipment that I've retired from my stuff.
No, I'm playing Cyberpunk on with AV cable. This is going to be so much fun.
God, why?
I love this podcast. I'm so glad I came back.
I take it back. We do run ads. We're running an ad now for new co-hosts because we've got
a job ad.
So this is brought to you by BetterHelp.
I'm gonna make you run your camera through one of those one time just to see how shitty it looks.
Oh man.
We're gonna make Chase stream his remotely from one computer to the other.
Oh my god.
And then Steven has to run it through that converter.
It's gonna be great. I'm gonna look like free Xbox Cloud Gaming. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh god. Okay, we all agree this is a really stupid idea. Ads suck. Don't do it.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to PlayStation's little weird anti-consumer thing this week. So Sony is introducing a new PlayStation 5 Slim model that sells for the same cost, 499 euros, but drops the memory from the expanded 1 terabyte to the original launch 825 gigs in Europe with the new CFI 210 model, which likely will be coming to other regions. So
basically it's got 1 terabyte, but the OS takes up the 100.
No,
whatever.
Not even that. They're going back to what it was at launch, where it was less than a terabyte, and then the OS takes up some of that. So that's not even the usable amount. That's just what it has. So we're literally paying more. This is the higher cost of the PS5, because remember, it's gone up a couple times in other countries and once in the US. But now we're going back to the launch time storage, and likely doesn't have a disk drive. So you're actually paying even more to get a disk drive for having this less storage. So this is what some people refer to as shrinkflation, where things get shittier and smaller while charging the same to try and look like you're still saving money. And I get it, but don't be so damn coy about it. Just say what it is. Like, I have a feeling this is going to end up coming to the US. And I know people are talking about like, oh, you can just expand the memory and put some in there. But it's not as easy as everyone makes it out to be for PS5. Like, you have to get the right kind of stick, right kind of memory to put in there, mount everything in there, which not everybody is comfortable with, even though it is very simple. Not everyone likes doing that, having to pop the panels off, screw things in, make sure it's screwed in correctly and inserted there and formatted and all that.
People have said the usable space in that model will be 667 gigs. So like 2 Call of Duties at least.
Yeah, I think that was the joke. Like, slap it on the roof, and this bad boy can fit 2 Call of Duties in there. Is the joke I've seen.
Yeah.
Which, yes, that's probably still better than an original model Series S. I will give you that. That's only 512 gigs. I have one, and it's only usable because I have a 1 terabyte expansion card in the damn thing.
Somebody did a teardown of what they said was different in it, and a lot of people said it's being made worse. It's addressing that the new model is addressing the liquid metal issue, but a lot of other things they took shortcuts on, and now it's an actual worse system than the 1 terabyte model.
Doesn't surprise me.
I mean, it used to always be hit or miss with revisions of systems, but like specifically for a lot of the PlayStation ones, like PS2 was really good. The Slim, lost the hard drive bay, was not a bad version of the system. Like, that was a really good one to get. The PS1, that little miniature one, was not a bad version to get. PS3, I think, actually got way better when they did the Slim model. Yeah, you lost PS2 support, but the system was way more stable. I think it was, less fingerprints and just kind of worked better.
Because they did they did the Slim and then they did the Super Slim.
The K model, yeah.
The Super Slim,
the slide top.
Yeah, the slide top that doesn't work after a while.
Yeah, that one had some problems. Xbox got a lot better with theirs, especially for the 360, because original Xbox never got a second. That thing was barely on the market. 360 got better as they went, less chances of red ring, including taking out LEDs so they can't show a red ring if they even had a problem. That was smart. The final version of the E model, I think it was called, I don't like how it looked, but it did work. It had a weird video out cable, but by that time, if you weren't using HDMI, what was the point? So, but normally these, fuck you with that, Steven. Quit showing me that thing. When did it become that I love video quality and doing this stuff for Scalar? So of course you have to just go and get like the fucking mirror universe of me, the worst version.
Free shipping.
As long
Jerry
as
would
you
have
bought
paid for your
those-
shipping.
I would have paid for your shipping. Yes, I would have paid for it without a problem. What are you doing? I'm saving someone. Okay. Even buying those on the context of it gained you enough for free shipping, you could have bought anything else. You could have bought a packet of toenail clippers for all I give a damn.
I have those.
You could have gotten more. One for each toe, labeled for each day of the week.
Do they have an HDMI port? This is the future.
Even if they did, they would have a better function than that shit.
Oh, man.
I have to find my own power, but I've got what I need. I got the 3, got the 1.
I want to open one of those and see the circuit inside
I got
so
a
bad.
switch that says it'll change it from 720 to 1080. Woo! This one's made out of plastic. This one's made out of metal.
And
Upgrade.
they're all made of my nightmares. God. This show is brought to you by the Retro Tink series of stuff. By that, do not get the shit Steven got.
Probably less parts in there than in a smoke alarm.
Probably causes the need for the smoke alarm. That's what's going to happen.
Cold.
No, it's hot. That's the problem.
You could do your solder practicing on those things.
Oh God. I have one last tool I ordered, by the way, for that, Steven, that'll be here in like a week or two. I want to run some tests with that to show you what happened before we open that thing up. Your nightmare of a Nintendo Switch Lite.
I do want to say a quick side story
Mm-hmm.
is when I worked at Radio Shack, and now they're involved in a Ponzi scheme. Good job, Radio Shack.
They're still involved in anything? I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Thought they got Toys R Us too.
I worked with a guy who once said to me,
Mm-hmm.
and you would have pulled out whatever hair you had at the time.
Slowly going away.
It's all going away. But he told me to my face, he's just like, I was like, I can't hook up this device to this TV. I don't have the right cables. And he's like, what do you mean? You have, the red, white, and yellow. And I was like, yeah. I was just like, this doesn't have those. And he's like, you can put them in any slots they want. The cords each one does the same thing. The color doesn't matter. I was like, what do you mean the color doesn't matter? I have things at home where the color is very important.
Wow.
But if you put the wrong thing in with component, you get black and white, obviously. But he was just like, you don't know enough about video. I was just like, excuse me, I know match the colors if you want it to do what you want it to do.
So my ADHD brothers and sisters out there will know exactly what I'm about to talk about, but there is no way in hell I would have not been in like, no, I'm sorry, I have to speak up right now and get into this.
If you were a customer getting like a transistor there or something, you'd be like, excuse me.
Like
no.
my friends that work at GameStop, my friends over at Dusty's, our local retro store here, they're all aware that I have that problem. I'm sorry, I have to speak up if I hear that someone's saying something wrong, especially on something of a technical nature, because that is my life. Okay. I get it. I know I have terrible impulse control, but I'm also an engineer. And if you say something wrong, I have to correct it so that you can move on with your life better, which, Steven, I've done a terrible job for you because you actually bought those damn things. Oh, they kill me to see them. Anyway, I've missed y'all.
Halloween, I can get earrings and scare him all month long.
God.
Okay,
Steven,
wear those as a hat and hold a soldering gun and a bowl of solder.
I have a request. Okay, if work ever sends me to your area where I get to actually physically meet you, I want you and Chris to sign that. I'll sign it. I'll even bring a silver Sharpie with it. I will mail that shit to Chase to have him sign it, bring it back. I'll frame the damn thing because it'll be cool and you'll never get to fucking use it again. I'll make it a memento and stop it from being used. I'll do it. And
It's
I'll even
worth
pay
it.
for your shipping to get it to Chase and back.
Don't use counterfeit postage; they'll destroy it in the mail.
Oh
Yep.
God. Yeah, that might be a story for next week. So I'm not looking forward to that. Oh, all right. So let's go into a story of people trying to use AI in such a way they couldn't have
Oh, I
mimicked
thought
where
next
this
was
went.
good news. No.
Nah,
There's no
well,
good news.
it ends in some good news. They're getting sued. So once again, just because we've been using it all this time, it's just another story all about
Corporate greed.
really missed Rachel. Because at this point, it's
what
also
the ass, guys.
so OpenAI was trying to push their Sora AI tool was free to use for any and all copyrighted material as they implemented an opt-out license if a company did not directly say not to use it. They argued that it was fair use and free to use as they pleased, which, isn't how the law works. So this came to light as Sora generated videos based on South Park, Mario, Pokemon, and many more copyrighted IPs they did not have licenses for were generated and shared doing things like putting Pokemon in bloody firefights, killing people with lightning strikes, characters harming others, people stealing, characters stealing and doing things, Mario being in an entire part of Star Wars using all the mixing up Disney and Nintendo. So you're just asking to get sued. The company was claimed that they were blocking the use of actors and recognizable faces, but believed that anything else they felt was free to use unless they were told not to directly. Of course, this is also BS because, Stephen, as you were talking about before the show, you were seeing all kinds of videos using actors and musicians and other stuff directly with their faces.
For the safer people who don't want to know some of the worst people I saw in there, I did see Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers have a ladder match, and the WWE announcers were saying their names perfectly, so they had copied their voices, and they also had Ronald Reagan calling out JFK.
Yeah, so the whole idea of them putting these restrictions on there is BS. People are getting around it, which is going to play into later in this story of their other claims. So, they were saying that, if the companies did not opt out, then they could use it as much as they wanted. It was free use, which is never the case. Well, as of October 3rd, OpenAI immediately reversed that decision because I'm sure they got piles of paperwork that were not AI generated and are very legally binding. They said it where a company has to opt in to allow for their copyrighted IP to be used, likely after, all this stuff happened. The problem is we just said that after they, said they blocked the likenesses from being used, it was still obviously being used. These companies' materials are still going to be done. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said in a post, quote, "We are hearing from a lot of rights holders who are very excited for this new kind of interactive fan fiction and think this new kind of engagement will accrue a lot of value to them, but want the ability to specify how their characters can be used, including not at all." So, yeah, I don't think that's going to work out like he wants it to.
I'm going to feed this into AI and tell me to give it 4K.
I am not a violent person, but if I had a way to stab you right now, watch I get the video I don't know if it'd be demonetized or not, but watch I get it blocked or something. On top of this, as we just talked about with Microsoft and their ad stuff, their OpenAI is trying to find a way to get companies or people to pay to make these little AI insanity thoughts or whatever the hell they want to call it. And then that way they can share the profit with the copyright holders that say that they can use their copyrighted material, which I don't know if how many companies are going to actually do that, because some of the stuff I've seen them already use are just horrific. Like Nintendo does not want their characters like murdering people bloodily or like, tearing apart actual realistic looking people with thunder shocks and stuff like that. Like there's this whole run of people trying to put Pikachu into all kinds of different situations that are horrific. It's such a lack of control of what they have. It's basically if somebody has an IP and they're okay with it being used, they were just never caring to begin with. So I don't know how far do you think this stuff's going to go with these before the big boys come in on them, Steven?
It's going to keep going.
Great.
It's going to keep evolving to where they have to worry about more. It's until one thing comes collapsing. I'm like, someone needs to research like what killed NFTs because nobody cares about those anymore.
Thank God.
And nobody cares about, especially with all the rug pulls they call them, all the crypto memes and all the, the
meme coins,
cryptos as well, the meme coins. So those have kind of died off because those are just shots like fish in a barrel. So it's just garbage. So at this point, like they've only got a few more avenues left, and it seems like they're pooling all those resources into those because it is looking better. You can still obviously tell it's horrible, but it's looking better, unfortunately.
Yeah. Unfortunately, is definitely the good choice of words because this is leading to so many problems just outside of copyrighted stuff, but the things that people are trying to make and post. Like I'm seeing more and more people, specifically elderly people that I know, absolutely fall for the crap that's being posted by these things. Like thinking that, oh, this musician gave this heartfelt speech about, whatever the fuck, and believing they actually did it, even though none of it ever happened, or historical events that never even occurred. And they're just like, oh no, there's the footage of it. And like that never happened. It's not real. But they're just not giving a damn to look into it and research and just believing it and running with it. And these are people making decisions for other people. Like that's terrifying.
You gotta remember even that over 50% of Japanese companies at Tokyo Game Show said they use generative AI. And just recently, the game that came out, what's it called? From Suda51 and
Oh yeah,
and Sweary, the video assets in the background are AI generated.
I don't think it was the Suda51 one. It was I thought it was the title that crap, what was the lawsuit? I'm blanking on the name. I have to look it up.
Well, this they did say it was the game that just recently came out because the backgrounds, the videos are all, AI generated to just be filler. So he didn't think it was a big deal, but people are like, and in those cases, I don't think that's a big deal. If it's used to fill a blank square, don't put them down or something like that. But if they're using it for their characters, character portraits, artwork, and stuff like that, the main part of the game that's either being fixed up, remastered, or created, then don't do that. But if it's background that I'm not going to give a second look at, you can do it.
Yeah, Zero Parades for Dead Spies is the one I thought, because that was the one from the Disco Elysium people. I thought that was the one that was using the AI stuff, which made it even worse because that we talked about, they had taken the IP from the actual creators, and if they're using AI,
I think those are just doing everything bad.
Yeah, but if it's actually the Suda51 one, that's
like,
come on, guys.
I heard Suda51 and AI in the same sentence, so it was definitely them.
That sucks.
But again, it was just the backgrounds; it had nothing to do with the game. Like the game wasn't generated or anything like that.
I can see that to a point of trying to, for busy work and things like that, to use it, but even with background art, people putting that time and effort in, that's still a part of the game. Like there's somebody that could be making that or doing that. So I don't know. And I know those guys have a market where they could pay people to do these things. They don't have to just make a bot do it. So, all right, so let's jump over to the speed run.
Time for good news?
Kinda. A new Simpsons movie has been announced for July 23rd, 2027.
So no.
I liked the Simpsons movie, but I kind of
be 90 and probably AI by then.
Yeah, like the voice actors are so old at this point.
Have you heard Marge now? Like
she's gotten rough. Yeah. Continuing with bad news, Jane Goodall, the conservationist that pushed the study of primates forward, has passed away at the age of 91. And, you know, I remember growing up and seeing so much of her work and the studies and, you know, the things that they did and the lessons she taught. But the story that stuck with me that I read about is the whole fuss that came out about a comic that was done about her on the Far Side.
And
Which
they were the best of friends after.
Yeah, it was so funny because it was the one where this two apes, one of them is cleaning the other one because, you know, they'll do that, and she pulls a hair, like a blonde hair, off of it, and he goes, "Oh, you've been hanging around with that Jane Goodall tramp again, I see, or, you know, or studying or whatever." And it was funny, and apparently people got all upset, like, "Oh, you called her a tramp," and, you know, that's not how she is, and they were trying to have the comic removed from different places and removed from publication. And then they found out Jane Goodall herself actually thought it was funny as hell. Like, absolutely loved it.
Yeah, nobody asks people who are being offended.
Yeah, she thought it was the funniest thing, that it ended up in the centennial issue of National Geographic because they thought it was that good. Got it republished in a few places. And then she even wrote the foreword of one of their books for it. So yeah, I mean, that feels like Jane Goodall for a lot of that stuff. Like, she can laugh with it, but also wanted to push the education and so forth about that. So
I did see a nice reenactment where they kind of did the scene from I want to say Predator with Dylan, but instead it was Steve Irwin and Jane Goodall, like finally meeting again and shaking hands, and then the third hand came out of nowhere and it was Harambe.
Oh my God, is that AI? Hopefully it's not AI crap. That's the problem.
No, it was all drawing and
okay,
live action, but it was hilarious because I was like, yeah, I was like, that's perfect. Harambe is just like, oh, Jane Goodall's here.
Oh man. Next up, we had sadly another passing. Renato Casaro has passed away. He painted a lot of the movie posters for movies like Conan, Terminator, Dune, Total Recall, Dances with Wolves, Flash Gordon, Rambo, Neverending Story, and so many more from the 1970s and 1980s. And after seeing a lot of his collection, I was like, I remember seeing so many of these posters and wanting so many of these posters because they were so well done. But apparently, like, right up to his end, he was still painting and doing stuff. So guy definitely kept busy with some good stuff. And then lastly, this one is a loss, but thankfully not a death. Not yet. So the guy's still alive. After over 30 years, Dan Forden, the longtime Mortal Kombat audio director, or better known as the Toasty guy, has left NetherRealm Studios. He is going to be working on new projects and said that in the future he'll be able to announce that. But after being there from the initial creation of Mortal Kombat itself at Williams, all the way to the forming of NetherRealm and continuing on up to the last Mortal Kombat 1 title that released, he's been involved in and hidden in some way almost every one of them, starting with Mortal Kombat 2 with the Toasty part. So that's just at least he's leaving on his own terms and it's not finding out after like a layoff. So that's at least something. So, all right, let's jump over to the big question.
Jinkies.
So the question for this week is kind of related to a lot of the Microsoft stuff and the absolutely stupid decisions they have made. I think we can all agree. Microsoft being dumb. They are going full dumb. If Microsoft ended up not making Xbox anymore and decided to go the path of the publisher, what do you think the industry would look like? And what would the effects of that choice look like as well? So Chase, we'll start with you on this one.
I thought, it would really be, the industry would look really weird if it didn't have an Xbox in it, wouldn't it? Like, it'd be really weird at this point. Just because, like, I don't necessarily think anybody could fill that void. I mean, good luck trying to make a console in this day and age. People have tried and failed miserably. Like, I just don't think you could really do it.
I mean, we're supposed to be getting a new Commodore 64, so maybe.
Yeah, that's a little bit different, but I mean, I don't know that we're necessarily going to not see an Xbox again. I think maybe Microsoft's, because there's rumors that Microsoft might be going the route of like letting other OEMs actually make their Xbox. And
pulling a 3DO.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Hopefully they don't do it to where like they just give it to like a whole bunch of OEMs and you have like 5 different types of Xbox. But like, I wouldn't necessarily be opposed if like they said, "Hey Asus, like make our next Xbox." Like, okay, let's see what they can do. Um, yeah, the publishing thing is they're definitely like leaning hard at the publishing thing even now with just their giving like their exclusives to like Sony, things like that, even Nintendo a little bit. I don't know, I think it's going to be interesting to see how things go for them in the future, but with all the price raises and stuff, I'm curious to see what they're actually like aiming for.
I have no idea what they're aiming for right now.
Yeah, because I don't really know what they're aiming for. But yeah, if they just kind of got out of gaming, like I think that would be. I mean, I think if they got out of gaming and it was just Sony and Nintendo, I think you would definitely see like we've seen Sony with a lot of hubris before, but I think it would just like go to like a next level probably because there just wouldn't be that competition.
Agreed.
Yeah,
that was actually a point I was going to bring up too.
Yeah, I think like you would probably see next level hubris from Sony just because they wouldn't have that competition anymore. Nintendo's just content to do their own thing, so they wouldn't care. Yeah, I don't know. Would be weird.
Right. Yeah. So, Steven, what about you?
I'm glad the AC's on down here because get ready for a hot take. The day it happens, I'm just gonna play "Imagine" by John Lennon. That's exactly how I'm gonna feel. Because at this point, I'm just looking at Xbox and saying, "Hurry up and die."
Damn.
Yeah.
Old Geller.
You no longer bring anything to the table. All you've given me in my life is strife because every time things go well, your things break down, and then I support your system, and then you can't make as good as Shadows as PS5, so I have to watch all these comparison videos to know the minute details between these two freaking systems. So Xbox, if you can't make the jump that you promised and you cancel your next system, it's kind of just a done deal that you better just be publishing from here on out. And I think by then we'll have no crime and we'll have no inflation and the skies will be blue, the water will be clear because Xbox is dead.
Okay.
But in all honesty, I'd rather Xbox do less layoffs and cancel less games because that would be their bread and butter now. So they'd be less likely to, I would think, and we would finally see the Call of Duty agreement with Nintendo finally come to fruition. So hurry up.
Pretty much. So Xbox, I remember when it first got announced that they were coming out, and it was just like, why would Microsoft get into gaming? Because at the time we had Nintendo, Sega, and Sony. Those were the big three. Sega dropped out, Microsoft kind of took their place, and we still had the big three. And I think gaming has always been benefited by having those big three. Not counting PC as it's always been its own thing off to the side because it doesn't always run by those same kind of setups, and it's not really, yes, it's gaming, but it's not the same environments and setups for that as a lot of them. You're not playing on your couch. You're not usually doing multiplayer locally or doing stuff like that. Like, it's a different beast. Just as legit, but different. But the big three always kind of kept each other in check. We used to have a bunch of little smaller setups before, back on the NES and Sega Master System days. You had NEC, Hudson, and Atari trying to do stuff and things like that, and they die out and be replaced. But I agree. I don't know if Microsoft died out. I don't know if someone would be able to take their place right now because no one's really pushing to make that kind of hardware. other than some of these like PC handhelds, which maybe they would try and bring PC into that, but it wouldn't be viewed the same as market competition, which is what leads to the other point Chase was making that I wanted to bring up, that Sony would just go full Sony on that. Because even though Nintendo has broken records with the sales of the Switch and the Switch 2 and all this stuff they're doing, they still try and stick their head in the sand and say they're not competition. We don't have to worry about them. They don't count. We're still the best. Whatever we do, you'll buy it. And, you know, that's where we're seeing these ridiculous speakers that we don't know how much they're going to be, or their streaming handheld, which, yeah, I agree. It's, you know, you said it was the best selling accessory, but the both of you have given very honest and very different and still shockingly accurate for both descriptions of how it works. But what else are you going to do? That's if you're, you know, it's like a shittier iPhone where like you're stuck in their environment, but not all their stuff works all the time. At least an iPhone works. Like you can do stuff with it. So I worry about Sony doing that because they would probably push for digital main titles. They're already wanting to kind of get to that, but they wouldn't have a reason not to do it. Their, you know, their PC support, I don't know if that would still continue or whatever, if they felt they were the only name in the game, how that would go. Their costs would probably increase because, you know, they don't have anything else competing. So if they're a $900 console, but they're the only main console, if you want a console, that's what you have to get. Unless you're getting a Switch 2, which they'll still trumpet and make those claims. Well, it's not worth it. It's powerful. And just imagine how pretentious those comparisons would be, Steven, between a Switch 2 game and whatever, you know, the next PlayStation is going to be. They'll just fuel that argument that people have. It'll be more reason for them not to fix their controllers that still have the drifting issue with the sticks, which they had on the PS4, that continue on the PS5 because they just kept the same sticks. They didn't even switch them out. You know, at least now they're maybe considering a model of the controller that has replaceable batteries, which is shocking. But I think Sony grows when they have good competition. The last time they got full hubris was the PS3, which bombed. I know people are like, oh, it technically outsold. I don't give a shit about that. It did not do as well as the 360 in the market for how it was doing. It had to play catch up. And it kept selling for a while, which is probably part of why it is, but whatever. Good system, but they learned a lesson. And then the success of the PS4 has now led to the PS5, which doesn't have as many supported games. It doesn't have as much published stuff for it. You know, they're pushing different models and different things on it. And as Microsoft keeps shrinking, Sony is not going to have that competition to grow from it. Analog sticks came along because of like the Nintendo 64 did it, and Sony decided they need to do it and tried doing the double of them. Rumble was a thing that Nintendo had started that, you know, Sony wanted to copy and do that. They do better when they're competing. And I think all of us benefit from it back and forth. So without that, it's going to become just the circle jerk of game console design. Like it's going to be terrible. So I have very low hopes for that. Microsoft, at this point, they're going to publish all their games. But if they continue making hardware, the only way that hardware is going to work is going to be if the next stuff supports other markets like Steam and things like that. They're never going to get Sony to agree to give them their games. I'm still shocked we got Helldivers 2. Honestly, still shocked. Because as much as Microsoft has put on the PlayStation, Sony is still putting the walls up and they don't want to put anything else out. You know, like I got asked by Jennifer this week, you know, can she play Spider-Man on her Switch? And I was like, no, because Sony owns the rights to it. They're never going to put it on there, even though Spider-Man used to be on everything. Microsoft's only chance for that is playing it on PC. So, like, that's my hope for the next Xbox hardware, because if they make hardware, even if it's powerful, if it can only play the very limited shrinking amount of Xbox games that are already going to other PlayStation stuff without getting anything back, who gives a shit how powerful it is? It could be the most powerful console in history, no one's going to buy it because they want to go play Spider-Man or something else that's only on a PlayStation, because they will not share it back and forth. So, okay, I think that's enough ranting for me.
Yeah, don't worry, Xbox. I have a way to play your old games.
Oh, God. Oh, why? Seriously, I will pay for your shipping for stuff from now on. Do not do this again.
I haven't tried them yet. Jesus.
I think he's saying don't try them.
I've already seen tests of those. Don't. Like, oh, man. I know I am picky about video quality, but damn it. Don't
I
do
hope
that.
Ghost of Yote looks good through one of those.
Oh, I broke the little point of my thing because I just stabbed it into my desk.
Look what you've done, Swan.
I think that's a good way to end this show. Oh, man. All right. So I think that wraps it up for episode 191 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network podcast. I'd like to thank Chase for joining me tonight and actually being a good person and not dealing with those shitty video converters. What would make it worse is if you plugged, what was that stupid HDMI cable that's supposed to upscale your stuff?
I have that.
Oh, God damn it.
I used it for Switch 1.
That I could at least see something. It's not perfect, but that's at least something. What? You're going to end up plugging that into the damn box, aren't you?
That's a good idea.
No, it's not.
That's suggested by Zenspath.
I feel like some parent accidentally like convincing a child to use drugs or something. Like, just don't do worse. Oh, that seems interesting. Oh no.
Like, this will make you fly. I love to fly. No.
All right. I think that's about it. This has been episode 191, and we're out. Peace.
Die, Xbox.
This has been a production of the Zenspath Entertainment Network podcast by the staff at zenspath.com. The show is created and edited by Jeremy Powers. You can find the video edition of the show on our YouTube channel at ZenspathCom. The audio edition is located wherever you find your podcasts. Links to all versions of the show, as well as to our Discord where you can talk with us directly, is located at www.zenspath.com. Please leave us a like, thumbs up, comment, and review where you can to help us grow.